Hey everyone, welcome back to the Backpack Composer. I'm Will. It's hard to believe today is actually our 10th episode. Crazy, we have already hit the double digits. Last night I played a gig, and as always, I came away very impressed by the bar music scene. The vibe at bars is just different. Everyone is supportive. You get paid what you're worth, or at least closer to it. And people actually encourage each other. I've played in some sketchy bars, but honestly, I've always been welcomed, and that sense of community always pushes me to do more. Which brings us to today's topic. There are a lot of tools that will literally write melodies for you. If that's your process, hey, no judgment here. You probably don't need to stick around for the rest of this episode. For those who do want to write your own melodies from scratch, or at least figure out a workflow that matches your creativity, stay tuned. That's what today is all about. Back in vlog number 2, I showed how I use a looper and a drum machine to spark original ideas. I'll set a tempo on the drum machine to establish the feel, and then I'll either loop a hook to build chords under, or I'll loop a chord progression to build a melody over, and then I'll import all of that into my DAW, so GarageBand or Logic Pro, and then just build it out from there until it sounds the way I like it. That ties right into the last couple of vlogs we did, where we proved that if you've got solid outboard gear, the iPad can go toe-to-toe with the MacBook. Logic and GarageBand are the same core tools for both iPad and MacBook. The difference comes down to the plugins. Mac plugins are more robust, but don't work on iPad, while iPad plugins, you basically can just download only what you need, and the touchscreen makes things so much faster. Last week's vlog, well, technically earlier this week because I posted late, we tested this with a Linkin Park-style track. I leaned heavily into my outboard gear with the MIDI and my guitar processor and my bass preamp, and then we used only one Logic plugin, well, 1.5. We used the Beat Breaker to simulate a turntable that was mixing the live song under the live song, and we also used the arpeggiator just as a template to build our lead guitar part off of. And by lead guitar part, I don't mean the melody, I mean not the rhythm guitar, but not the lead, but that riff that kind of just comes in and out in the middle. And then we used Logic's standard mastering track. What I didn't show you last time was my melody writing process. So today we're circling back within the same song to kind of redo that part, because the song right now, it works for demonstration purposes, but if I wanted to put it on iTunes or Spotify, that melody needs some work. Before we dive in, as I've said before, this is not a music theory vlog. I personally know above average theory. There are just as many musicians who kind of just play by raw emotion who are just as successful. There is some baseline theory, though, that you do need to create consistent melodies for songs. So let me break those down real quick. You need to know both your major and your minor scales. All of them. The patterns for them both stay the same, but you need to be able to play them on all 12 keys, and there is a reason for it. It's also helpful to know your pentatonic scale, and it's helpful to know your blues scale. Major and minor, every key has a set number of sharps and flats. This just tells you which notes not to hit in your song. The pentatonic scale, there's 2 of them, but neither of them is major or minor, which means you can throw them in between your major and minor scales. Similarly, your blues scale is the opposite of the pentatonic, which is neither major or minor. The blues scale is both major and minor. So you can also use that between major and minor fills. I caution people from only using pentatonic or the blues scale, and the only reason I caution people from doing this is because I myself have been called out for only using them. It is very easy to run out of ideas quickly. But if you learn all four, the possibilities are endless. Now remember, I said that this isn't a music theory blog, so please be gentle in the comments at my gross oversimplification of all of this. The point is, you need enough to just know what not to do. After your scales, you need to know rhythm. It doesn't matter if you're counting in 3, 4, 6, 8, whatever. You need the basic ability to subdivide your notes within the scale to form clear rhythm that complements your chord changes, not just mimic them. If your melody and your chord changes line up exactly, you basically don't have a melody, you just have a top note over your chord change. Using variations on top of that set pillow, if you will, that's what makes your melody stand out. Lastly, you need some emotion, or as musicians call it, you need dynamics. You can play all the right notes at all the right times, but if you do every single note at the same volume and timbre, it's not going to work. It's going to sound emotionless. It's going to be boring. So you want to mix it up. You want some notes louder, some notes quieter. You want to choke some. You want to let some ring out. You want some to break up in your amp if you're using one. This is where all of that comes in. Also, this is what made last night's experience relevant, in that the energy that you get back in from what you put out is what's going to control your dynamics. Let's put this into practice. We'll open up last week's Linkin Park-style track, and I'm going to walk you through redoing my melody. Step 1. I did the chord track last week, and in all honesty, I should have shown you how that works, but it's pretty intuitive and there's presets for it, so if you don't know it, you can work without it. The chord track establishes what notes I have to pick from in any given part of the song. The song itself is in D minor. Now, a scale has 8 notes, including both octaves. So the bottom D and the top D are the octaves. So technically it's 7 separate notes and then 2 Ds on either end. 1, 3, 5, 7 are the notes I can hit long and strong. 2, 4 are the notes I can hit quickly to get from one place to another. And the 6th gives me my color, and the 7th will also make the chord sound wider. If it says the chord D, I know I can hit a D, an F natural, an A, or I can also hit as my passing tones an E, a G, a B flat, and if I want to add color, that's where that C natural comes in. Step 2 is I'm going to choose my scale. So what I can do is I can say I want to mix and match my 1, 3s, and 5s in any random order. And then when I need to kind of add something in there to move from one chord to the next, my 2, 4, and 6 will more often than not be the 1, 3, and 5 of whatever the next chord is. So if I'm going D minor, D minor, D minor, D minor, F, my D minor has an F in it, but the 6th of my D minor is the B flat, which is the 4 for the F. So that's how that passing tone works. I can use that B flat to move from the D to the F. The point is, when you're setting up your melody, instead of making it very block-like, there are other notes you can use based on common tones to kind of transfer from one scale to the next. Now that we have the notes we want to pick for our melody, This is where the rhythm comes in. Right now, the rhythm guitar for our song was 8 eighth notes, followed by 6 stabs that were just placed there to fill empty spaces. So I can ignore the 6 stabs and just focus on, now it'll be 16 eighth notes. Now when I'm doing my melody, I don't want to play 16 evenly spaced notes because it's going to get confusing. I can mix them up. So I can do 1 quarter note, 1 eighth note, 1 quarter note, 1 eighth note, which staggers it. Or I can do 1 half note, 1 eighth note, 1 quarter note, 1 more eighth note, 1 more quarter note, as long as it adds up to the right amount of time. But that ability to break beats up into smaller beats is what's going to make your melody work. It's easier to do with vocals because syllables break words up for you. But if you, like me, don't sing, and nobody wants to hear that, you really want to play your instrument as if you were singing it. And that's the approach I tend to take to everything. So we've got our chords, or we have our scales based on the chords. We have our subdivision of our rhythm to break the melody apart from the background chords. And this is where our dynamics comes in. So even as I'm talking to you now, certain words are stressed more than other words. You want your melody to do the same thing. The notes that you really want to drive home, because they're the ones that kind of stick everything together, those are your strong notes. Your passing tones, your common tones, those don't have to be as strong because they're there just to link 2 different sections together. How I play the phrase changes the feel. And that feel is what makes the melody itself move instead of just being a stagnant thing on top of my chord change. So that is melody writing on the iPad, or at least that is my very, 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 very simplified version of it. It takes practice. Sometimes, most often, the idea will just come to you and it's a matter of getting it out of your head and into a medium. This becomes useful when the idea won't come to you, but you know you want to get something done. We can take the chord track presets built into Logic and the session players built into Logic. GarageBand has the session players as well, but not the chord track. And from there, what we can do is just figure out, these are the chords it gave me, what notes work in this order. Let me break those notes into smaller chunks, and then let me memorize the sequence and record it. If you got anything out of this, go ahead, hit that like, subscribe, drop a comment about your melody writing workflow. I promised last week a special announcement. As of the day after I posted last week's vlog, we are published. This is the mixing and mastering series we did, put to text with illustrations. It is 85 pages, all vetted, all proofread. While it is specific to GarageBand and Logic Pro, it will all work in any DAW. So if you know a producer anywhere who is looking to improve what they're doing or get some ideas, there are 5 chapters. Each chapter is everything we talked about, and each section within the chapter is broken down by instrument. You can get these on my website, www.thebackpackcomposer.com, all one very long word. This one is available immediately. This one is on pre-order only. This one is $25. This one is $29. For both of them, when you buy the book, I only make $1. So I wanted to get them cheaper, but to get the good paper that doesn't rip when you turn it, I had to spend some money. So go get your copy today. This is not a money grab. So I guess that's it. I'll see you next week for vlog number 11. In the interim, may your gear be light, your latency low, and your dogs quiet while you track vocal. Peace.